I'd like to warn you in advance that this video is drama, pure and simple. There is nothing to be learned from this video, there is no insight to be garnered, no enlightenment to be found. This is simply me bashing the ever-loving shit out of some douchebag that I despise. So if that's not your thing, mosey on along. Click on someone else. The guy that I would like to rip asunder today goes by the name of John D. Villarreal Esquire. And he is every bit as pompous as his name would lead you to believe. He is a right-wing conservative who claims to have an IQ of 174, making him a super genius, in his own words. Alright, now I'm going to play you just a brief excerpt from the video of his that I watched.
ADV, the super genius, and I've got PFE on the line right here. We're getting ready for an unbelievable matchup, head-to-head, between T.O., the superpower, and McNabb and the weak Eagles who are going to get destroyed. But before we do, I was able to catch something this weekend that is of prime importance that we need to talk about right now. We've heard all this stuff about hope and change and BS stuff like that coming out of the Obama campaign.
Now, Albert Einstein never took an IQ test in his life. But most experts who have tried to determine what his IQ most probably was place it around 160. So the individual that you have just seen claims to have a 14 IQ point advantage on Albert Einstein. Now, I call bullshit, and I'm sure most of you do too. Someone with an IQ higher than Einstein's does not spend his time making half-baked political videos on YouTube. So right off the bat, we know this guy is, 1, a liar, and 2, an idiot who thinks that we'll believe anything. But why am I making a video to this guy? Why am I wasting time with this imbecile when I could be talking about more important things, talking about more entertaining things, talking about funnier things? Well, the reason is very simple. He made a video, which I have linked to in the description, and I left a comment arguing that he was being disingenuous, and he fucking deleted it! Now, if I was just your average user and I had no means of retaliation, I would have just taken it in my stride and said, well, if he wants to silence all dissent against his opinion, that's fine. That's his prerogative, and I'm certainly not going to stand in the way. But the fact of the matter is, I have a channel with 23,000 subscribers, and I view it as maybe not an obligation, but I do feel a certain amount of pressure to stand up against the douchebags of YouTube, because I'm in a position to. So why don't you write this guy a letter and let him know what you think about how he handles dissent on his channel. And no one can turn around and accuse me of not allowing dissenting opinion. All you have to do is go look at the comments on my Sarah Palin video, or my military video, or my last Just About Sick video, or any video that I have really. And you'll see tons and tons and tons of dissenting opinion. I do not silence dissent. I never have. The only time I've ever blocked people was when it was just blatant trolling, when it was nothing but personal insults that lacked any and all substance. And even most of those people I allow to continue to comment on my videos because I realize that trying to stop them is a futile endeavor. But let me get a little bit more substantive on this guy's ass, because he bitches and moans in this video that people never come to him with substantive attacks. Alright, John, here's a substantive attack for you. Now, you claim that because Janine Garofalo said that all conservatives should be jailed, that means that all Obama supporters are elitists who want to see half the country in jail. Well, first of all, I would point out that half of the country does support Obama. The polls are close. I mean, you have a huge percentage of Americans standing in this guy's corner, so you cannot possibly claim that all of those people are elitists. Another thing is that the comment was made in the heat of passion. I mean, we all say stupid things in the heat of the moment. About a minute later in the show, she said that she didn't really mean that she was just joking. You don't show that clip, you don't make any reference to that clip, but it's there, and anyone who watches the show in its entirety can see it. Now, Bill Maher, I don't think would have any problem admitting that he is a left-wing guy, and even he jumped on her ass right after she made that comment and said, that's not helpful, you shouldn't be saying something like that. So even Bill Maher objected to that comment right on the spot. But let's say that she did say it in all seriousness. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. She's one person. She doesn't represent any group of people. The only person who Janeane Garofalo represents is Janeane Garofalo. No one else. And I mean, you have conflated Janeane Garofalo's opinion with the opinion of every other Barack Obama supporter on the planet. And that, sir, is a travesty. It is completely intellectually bankrupt. And you're a bit of a scumbag for doing so, and not in the endearing way. You're just a vile piece of human shit whose existence is without merit. But you know what I thought was really interesting was that a few years back, a woman by the name of Ann Coulter wrote a book called Treason. And the premise of this book was that all Democrats and all liberals of any stripe were traitors to America. You know, and the right wing of America didn't rally against this book and say, no, Anne, you've gone too far. It was a top seller. It was a best-selling book. So if you want to make the case that one side is trying to imprison or oppress the other in some way, I think you can make the case far better that the conservatives are trying to oppress and perhaps incarcerate the liberals, then vice versa. So John, I hope that you've learned a little something from this, and I know that you'll be learning a little bit more about it in the days to come as more and more people write to you and express their feelings about how you handled this topic. And I think it should be interesting. I hope that you respond to this video. I hope that you respond in some sense, because I'd like to see you use that big super genius brain of yours to utterly annihilate me. I think that would be really interesting to see you attempt to do that, John.